Space, the final frontier. These are the misadventures of the cast of Beast Wars Second. Its ultimate mission to drain the life and souls out of the hosts of Too Much Energon, the Beast Wars centric podcast.
Boldly destroy people's willpower to boldly win the Beast Wars once and for all.
Too much energy.
Too much energon, like this podcast.
Cheetor, what in the ever-loving fuck have you done?
If I wanted to fly, I would have become a bat, not a rat.
It seems my head is purple fire now.
Intelligent conversation.
The louder you yell, the more damage your bullets do.
Ah!
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Well,
It's gonna blow.
I've decided that I want to live.
No. Not that. Ah!
Good evening, Galvabergs. Welcome to episode 148 of Too Much Energon, the podcast where we talk about Beast Wars shit and talk shit about Beast Wars. Coming to you live from a mysterious floating mountain somewhere hidden on planet Energon, I am Eliminator Siege, one of your hosts.
And I'm Destroyer Neo, your other host.
This week on Too Much Energon, we did it. We did it. We have completed Beast Wars Second, once and for all.
To completion.
To completion.
Let it be known.
Beast Wars Second has been edging us along for what, like a goddamn year now at this point, and we're finally we finally crossed the finish line.
Yeah, let it be known. Here, exclusively on Too Much Energon, not one but two people have watched Beast Wars Second from beginning to end.
And speaking of endings, we're covering the final episode of Super Lifeform Transformers Beast Wars Second, episode 43, Farewell, Lio Convoy, which originally aired on January 27th of 1999. Over 25 years ago.
What a year. What a year.
1999. Yeah, it was a great year for movies.
It's a great year for all sorts of stuff.
A great year for Beast Wars all around, I think. Not this Beast Wars, mind you, but the Beast Wars that we know and love.
The Beast Wars once and for all, yes.
Yeah. Another thing that is worth pointing out is at the time of recording, it is September 16th of 2024.
Wait a second. Doc!
The Beast Wars that we know and love premiered on this day, 28 years ago. Today.
That's right. It's almost as old as we are.
Almost. And you remember, which really puts things into perspective, because you remember we did a 25th anniversary episode special of this podcast, and the podcast had already been going for a while at that point.
25th anniversary edition of the podcast we're doing now?
Yes. It was
what?
Episode 57 of Too Much Energon was a Beast Wars 25th anniversary special.
Oh, the 25th, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, we haven't been doing it that long, have we?
we're caught in a we're caught in an angle slam energon matrix unicorn panda puff space void, like the Maximals at the end of this episode are.
Yeah. Hey, now you're getting ahead of yourself a little bit. You're getting a little bit ahead of yourself.
Yeah. So what the hell happens in this episode? Picking up where we left off from the last episode, which I gotta be honest, I don't even remember, but apparently Lio Convoy and Lio Jr. have merged into the green.
The Matrix Hurricaned. I didn't realize how much bigger why can't I remember the giant T-Rex little brother bot?
Gigastorm.
Gigastorm, there we go.
Giggle
I
Storm,
didn't
if you
realize
will.
I didn't realize he was like they're the size of his foot, the rest of the like Predacons.
Oh yeah, he can change his size.
It never really explains why or why not he's any given size, but he's particularly big right now.
There was only the one episode where there was that device that like would
That was
shrink
on
him
the
down.
ship.
On the ship that would shrink him down so he could go onto the Galvaberg.
Right, right.
The
And it was
Galvaberg
also
2.
used when he was like arguing with Gaviscon.
Right, when him and Gaviscon, that because Gaviscon like used the thing against him to like get the upper hand.
And then he was like, "Stop hitting yourself, huh? Huh? How does it feel? Use
Yeah.
the shrink ray on you. Who's a bitch now?"
So
But
Giggles,
we don't get that in this time. We get a touching moment between older brother and little brother.
Gigglestorm goes up against the legendary Green Lion and loses.
Don't you know the tale of the legendary Green Lion that was introduced to us like as he appeared?
And yeah, and the characters just speak about it as if it's like some legend that's known throughout
That's
the
common in
cosmos.
Cybertron, and okay, but then never talk about it again. So it's like, what? I, you know what makes things cooler when the characters tell me it's cool. That makes me like it more.
Right?
Yeah.
So Gigglestorm loses the fight against the legendary Green Lion. That
What?
the legendary Green Lion, the tale as old as time, the fable that you tell your kids at night to put them asleep.
The very same?
The very same. Yeah,
Yep.
so Gigglestorm loses, but he gets praise from Gaviscon.
As he's dying, yeah.
As he's dying, yeah. And Gaviscon says, I took a screenshot of this because I thought it was so stupid. He's like, however, and I know this is just like a translation issue, but
It is, yeah.
however, that made me think of him as a cute younger brother.
And speaking of translation, you know how we always thought it was like, oh, you have way more power and compassion than like Lyle Convoy Jr. or
Yeah.
like anyone else or whatever, right? And we're like, compassion. Why do the Destructons keep talking about compassion? What I think is they mean passion or ambition, but it doesn't translate quite right. And what we are getting is compassion. But I think they mean like ambition and passion.
Right.
It's funnier to think of it as compassion though, like mercy and everything. And I'm like, since when? What you say and what you do are very different, Gaviscon. But yeah, he's like, you're the most compassionate brother, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry I failed you, Oni-chan. And he's like, you didn't fail me. You fought as harder than anybody could. And he was like, big bro, that's the only compliment you've ever given me.
You've earned it, son.
Don't let it go to your head.
Now die in peace.
Oh, but don't worry, because we can't possibly kill anyone off. In like 30 seconds, Gaviscon tells his men, oh, don't worry about it. He's just out of energy. He's not dead.
Right.
Why not leave that for the audience to discover? Because later, when he suddenly wakes up because his tail gets burned by the angle slam lava, it's funny. But like we already know he's not dead, so like that takes away the whatever. This does bad psych outs like 8 times this episode. Oh geez, these people are dead. Hoo, they're not actually. Anyways, it's the big bet. It's the final combat. This is what we've been waiting for. It's Lyo Convoy versus Gaviscon.
So Gaviscon decides that he's going to drink all of the angle slam energy from the artificial planet Nemesis and get really charged up to fight the legendary Green Lion. He's gonna start hulking up. Oh, and Scuba shows up out of nowhere.
Okay, I'm so fucking angry. Okay, folks. So
Okay.
the moon. Okay, so Artemis praying and becomes a magical girl, and through her prayers,
Yeah, she becomes
moves the moon to block the energy beam that would destroy Gaia
right.
from the artificial planet Nemesis.
Yeah, I believe that happened last episode.
Right.
Was when they moved it.
Now that'll only block planet Gaia for so long until that energy is dissipated or destroyed. It's implied that the Maximals need to hurry up, right? Scuba shows up in his taco tank, and I shit you not, man, I'm so disappointed. Scuba shows up suddenly, and they're like, "Oh, Scuba, you're here." And he's like, "Yeah, I was busy tunneling through the artificial planet Gaia to create like ventilation ducts so that the energy was dissipated through those like long tunnels instead of towards Gaia." And then, because you might be just so fucking stupid that you're like, geez, wouldn't it have been cool to show that on the fucking episode instead of being told that you did it off screen? Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
And not only did
out a whiteboard.
I was gonna bring this up. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, not only does it happen off screen, we're shown that and we don't even get like a flashback to like what he does. He decides to like draw up a diagram that he just holds up, like illustrating.
It's a 2D bisection showing what we did, showing how he made two tunnels to vent all of the energy so that it shoots out harmlessly into space instead of towards like the beam.
Yeah,
so the thing that's been threatening Gaia the most, you resolve it by having Scuba say, "Hey guys, I did this cool thing." That is I'm so fucking mad. That is such lazy writing. And It's not even the first time something cool happens off camera. That is so fucking bad. That you lazy pieces of shit. That is so bad.
I like what the TF wiki says for trivia for this episode. They say, "Look, Scuba took the time to make a diagram explaining his plans to disperse the Anglemoy energy, and you thought all that standing around the past few episodes was just unnecessary padding."
I'm assuming it's one person. Maybe it's multiple with the same sense of humor. But that person is the only wiki/article writer that I genuinely think is funny.
Yeah, it's a bunch of people, but in general, the tone of I've talked about this before. But
we have for years, yeah.
The tone of the TF wiki is very cheeky.
It's very cheeky, but written as somebody who genuinely wants to, like us. We want to like Transformers. We want to like the Beastformers, gosh dang it. But I can't believe they spent like 2 minutes explaining on a diagram what Scuba did instead of just cutting to him and having him like maybe be like, "Oh, is this the end for me? No, I have to keep going." And then him drilling out of the ground and like explosion happening as the Angle Moist gets released and showing us, it doesn't even show us that it gets released in these two other jets and that the mainstream is kind of like dying down. He just tells us it is. He's like, "Oh, don't worry. The thing that's going to destroy the planet, I dealt with it."
And so instead of that, yeah, we get this like very like lazy like quick explanation of like how the threat is resolved. But we still get tons of filler in this episode of like the Predacons standing around like wondering what they're supposed to do, the Maximals standing around being like just reacting to things that Lio Convoy is doing.
Oh, both sides. Nobody does fucking shit until Gaviscon and Lio Convoy disappear to go fight underground because that's more dramatic that way. They can be separated. And because Gaviscon's going to gulp up all the remaining angle slam energy. And then there's some yada yada. The Predacons are like, we can fly, and now's our time to take care of the small fry before Gaviscon gets back.
Right.
The fights are all unremarkable. It's just the splash screens of them firing their weapons that we've seen like 100 times.
Yeah.
On the show.
At some point, Scuba steals the Galvaberg.
Off screen
Again, off screen.
So Scuba does something else that's really cool as they're beginning to lose. Scuba, through like a giant megaphone, even though they're in space, whatever, they're transformers, maybe they hear it in their head through radio signals, is like, hey, I don't think you guys should finish off the Maximals just yet. Look who's got your big toy. And they're like, hey, get out of that thing. Gosh dang it, that's not fair.
That's no fair. You're supposed to be the good guy.
Yeah, and he's like, or I could just, blast you away with the touch of a button if you don't retreat. And I'm like, wow, hijacking the enemy ship that they've had all show. What would be really fucking cool? If part of the show showed like an infiltration mission. But no, Scuba is this, and I did it off screen character like of this show, where he just, especially in this episode, where he just like shows up and he's like, don't worry, I did the thing.
It's
like,
all
it
good,
literally
guys.
just shows
I
the
took
ship,
care of
and
it.
he's like, haha, I've got the ship now. Nothing is important in this episode when it comes to the Maximals. The only thing that matters is Lio Convoy and Lio Convoy Jr. and resolving him letting Junior call him dad.
So Gaviscon decides to like drink up all of instead of letting the angle slam energy get like vented out into space, he's like, oh, I'm just gonna drink it all up myself, and he gets like really charged up. And Lio Jr. and Lio Convoy merge again to become the Green Lion.
Wasn't sure why they split apart when they were on the surface earlier.
I guess maybe just to show that they're both still alive.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, I can't. No, we need to merge. It's the only thing that could happen. You have to believe in the heart of the cards, and that in friendship you have, and it shows like, I don't know, them yelling and like concentrating so that they merge, and then they do. There's no consequences, but it's making it seem like this big deal. And I'm like, we already know you can do it.
We need to merge. You got the touch.
If that played, that would have changed my rating, perhaps. Perhaps.
So, as the Green Lion, it's like they use their like super like mega force like lion mane whirlwind power doohickey charge up super beam.
But
So
when you
basi-
know it,
So basically what they do, and I thought this was so fucking stupid, even though I know it's to set up it's to set up the plot of Beast Wars Neo. It's so fucking stupid. So what the legendary Green Lion's like Lion Mane attack does is it breaks all of the angle slam energy that Gaviscon has consumed into small little capsules, and then splits them off and sends them out into space in a million different directions.
and presumably that this is going to destroy him. Spoilers, nobody fucking is destroyed in this episode. Anyways, so oh my god, so it's like, hey, what are you doing to me? And all these thousands of little dots go on him, and he explains, we're splitting the angle slam energy into little capsules for reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that their way of saying that they're just isolating all of like the atoms so that they can't be harnessed? No, like literally turning them into like little pills,
little capsules. Yeah. And the reason why I said this sets up the plot of Beast Wars Neo is because in Beast Wars Neo, Magmatron is running around the galaxy trying to get all of these Anglemoy capsules.
And also then it fits in with the comics and the other things where like there are limited supplies of angle moist energy here and there, right? And like little capsules.
So
So it's like trying to.
per the TF wiki, Galvatron actually does die here, which is weird
Okay,
because you
so
hear his voice at the end of the episode.
right.
But I don't know.
So
Maybe
well,
he's like
here's the thing.
disembodied now.
They think they killed him, but then out of the rubble crawls after they all disperse, crawls Gaviscon, but in his normal form rather than powered up giant monster form. And he's like, oh, I might not have infinite energy to rule the world, but I have enough to take you down with me. And he touches a crystal on his chest. It's never been established that that's a special crystal, but it is.
That's
And it
just
glows.
that's where he's storing his last bit of like angle slam energy.
And then they have a dramatic like samurai kind of where they like fly at each other and lion claw, and it hits this big round red like crystal ball on his chest and it shatters, and that presumably killed Gaviscon once and for all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that was cool, I guess, right?
so as the artificial planet Nemesis is about to, I don't know, explode or something, it ends up,
Oh yeah, I guess it's going to explode.
yeah, it looks like it's about to like crash into the moon and explode. And indeed it does, but in the process, and we don't see this, it just looks like they're both
Don't
destroyed.
worry, it happens off screen.
But we're told in dialogue, as is this show's like their like ace in the hole, their like trump card maneuver is to just like explain something that happened in dialogue. The Artemis Artemis in her seer like vision quest form somehow like merges the artificial planet Nemesis and the moon together to form a new moon.
Now, this isn't too crazy. Our moon and our planet are made from a smaller planetoid hitting our forming Earth, like billions of years ago.
Right.
And the remnants of it formed and made the moon. And that can happen. But what's confusing is that that's not what is explained. And Artemis and Moon are okay. She just kind of like did it.
And she
Like,
snaps
a
out of it,
bigger moon.
and now she's not a seer anymore.
I hate this trope.
And she
And
can't
she goes,
remember
I
anything.
blacked out. What happened? Oh, I hate that trope. It's like, can't you be cool and remember what you did?
Yeah, it's like
why don't you remember it?
you finally, for the first time in this show, actually did something to help.
But it wasn't you. It was like the magical goddess girl. I don't like the I blacked out and was more powerful than ever trope, which is fucking everywhere in anime.
Oh, I bet.
In
Yeah.
Slayer, that is not good writing. Yeah, this is like, oh man, I hate the I blacked out and became like super powerful. And oh geez, what happened when I was out, guys? I hate that trope so much. It's anyways, it oh geez, is everyone dead? It cuts to black screens. It cuts to black screens and it shows everyone's inner thoughts.
And
As they're
now,
like, am I dead? Where is everyone else? And then Bighorn's like, if this was heaven, there'd be more bitches. Something like that.
if this was heaven, there'd be some beer. There'd be some beer right here with me. Hey,
And well, there'd be some fembots at my side. What can I say?
bitches and beer.
Bitches and beer. And then the screen lights up with the starry background, and we get Lyle Convoy being like, no, you're not dead. And for the fourth time, he explains that off screen, mind you, that he managed to, in his like green like lion form, like take everyone off of the exploding artificial planet Nemesis just in time to save them all. Like one at a time.
And
You
now,
just
and now they're in some kind of weird like pocket dimension.
now they're not just floating in space. He said the way I had to save us was that we're in like this pocket dimension. We're not near Gaia anymore. But don't worry. And then like they are actually fucking dead. A stairway to heaven. Like it's more like a road. This like beam of light forming a road.
Just appears, and they all start like sailing toward it, and Lio Convoy like salutes the camera and is like, "Thanks for supporting us all this time. We're going to be going away for a while now, but we'll be back."
Oh, and he explains that, and they're like, "What is this portal? Where does it take us?" And his Maximals are like worried or whatever, and he's like, "It takes us to wherever we need, always fighting evil and fighting for justice." And then he's like, "Thanks everybody for watching." And I'm like,
No matter where you go, there you are.
listen, we're reviewing a show about robots that transform into animals. I get it. Like we can suspend our disbelief like some, but like for the love of all that is holy, you can't just say, and then everybody lived in a pocket dimension opened up and then they went like somewhere else.
It's bad writing.
And
It's
that's
just
that's the episode, I guess.
that
And I guess all the Destructons and the Destruct, what are the Viacon? The Viacons are still on Gaia, but the Destructons
so the
and
auto
Gaviscon all died.
presumably the auto rollers, the three amigos, the insectrons are all still on Gaia. But
Yes, you're right.
and the rest of the Maximals are in this pocket dimension, like going to the great beyond. And
No, maybe they'll meet Gary and I don't know, fucking Megzy out there.
and
And Rhinox?
the Predacons, who were all on the artificial planet Nemesis, presumably are all dead.
Because fucking Scuba took their wait, why would they need the legendary Green Lion when they had the ship? What happened to the
We don't know.
whatever? It forgot that they stole a spaceship like 2 minutes earlier. Because that would be a good way to escape.
Per the TF Wiki, apparently in the final episode of Beast Wars Neo, we find out what happens to everyone.
Oh,
Here.
okay.
So
And I'm sure it'll make complete logical sense, and I'll feel like a fool. I'll feel like a fool for having ever doubted.
So months from now, we'll presumably find out. Long after we've stopped caring.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess that's the final episode of Beast Wars Second.
So here on Too Much Energon, we rate episodes of Beast Wars Second, and whatever the hell else we feel like talking about on the Too Much Energon scale, which ranges from not enough energon to a sufficient amount of energon to too much energon. It's basically bad, okay, good. Cal, what you giving Farewell Lio Convoy?
This was it barely evades our hidden fourth rating with how like but that's offensive to like the canon. That those are things that are like go walk yourself levels of what the fuck is this? This was just like not enough energon, man. Nothing in this was cool.
I don't know. I'm tempted to bust out the no energon, the secret no energon rating.
We've given other episodes of this. No. Or have we?
I don't know if we have. I think we've come
just called
close.
it bad, never. Is this that bad though? Like offensively, I mean, I got pretty mad.
I think it. See, I think
you know
it is,
what?
and I'm going to make.
I think it is.
I'm going to
go.
I'm going to make the case for it. The case for it is everything interesting happens off screen and is explained through dialogue immediately
like 4 or
after
5 things.
Immediately after it allegedly happened.
You're right.
We get a Deus Ex Machina like quick like hand wavy like explanation for not only like how the artificial planet Nemesis is dealt with, the Anglemoy problem is dealt with, Gaviscon being killed, the Maximals just ending up in a pocket dimension, and also like where the hell are the three amigos? Where the hell are the Insectrons? Where the hell are the auto
the three
rollers?
amigos were in we know
what happened to the sea
pirates.
Yeah.
they're alive. They escaped because they were slapped out of it. They were slapped out of their hypnotism. Even though they agreed willfully to help the Destructicons, Predacons.
Destructobons.
Destructo Man, led by
I am
Gaviscon.
Destructo Man.
I I'm fine with just presuming all of the others are on Gaia or in space, but no, you sold me when it's like one thing happening off screen. Okay, whatever. That would piss you off on the normal episode. This is the finale, and there's like 5 fucking rad things that happen off screen and then are explained immediately. And you know what? We're busting out the fourth, the not cursed, the what's our fourth rating?
The
Unspeakable, the
rating that best remain unspoken.
there you knew exactly where I was going with that. The rating that best remain unspoken. Unfortunately, there are some things that are like just grievously like, oh man. And it's no, it's not just no energon. Well, feels like it should be worse than that. Jeez.
I don't know how. Negative
So-
energon?
There's too much energon, a sufficient amount of energon, not enough energon, and then no energon.
No energon.
And this is like an energon. What's the opposite of surplus? My brain
Deficit.
is melted. Deficit. This is an energon like deficit. So yes, in the very least, no energon.
The energon supply has been completely poisoned by sour Anglemoy milk.
This, oh man. And again, a standalone, you might watch this and go, oh, I don't see what's like so wrong with that, Siege and Cal, but like this can't be the finale. Like this might be the worst. This is the lowest on any scale we've ever covered. Like this is like, man, is it worse than the Vok though?
I don't think it has to be worse than the Vok to
I'm comparing. I don't need to compare, like, is this a dog or is this cat poo? Let's compare the aromas. It's not always a competition. It's just bad.
I will say though, this is one of the worst episodes of anything we've reviewed on this show.
It is. It is. Yeah, even as a standalone, like it was like, you know what, let's go back and like rewatch that end episode. Like you don't even get like kind of a cool fight. You just get like, let's harness our matrix and make green spots turn into capsules. That's your finishing move.
Yeah.
The number of stuff that's like, hey, check out this really fucking cool thing that happened off screen. Don't worry about it. What is it? 5?
Green lion bubble attack.
Green lion bubble attack. But don't worry, we need them in capsules. Oh, and at the very end, it's not how it's like, oh, they were scattered everywhere. The angle moist energy in capsules everywhere, but none of them towards Gaia. Y'all know how gravity works? Wasn't this bitch like just outside the gravitational pull of the moon? You're telling me thousands of like capsules, millions, shot out into space and then weren't pulled into orbit around the whatever. They shot in every direction except towards the Earth, I guess.
Except toward Gaia,
Somehow.
because in the next show we don't need to go back to Gaia.
Thank Primus.
Now apparently Beast Wars Neo is kind of a like planet hopping adventure.
Immediately sounds better. That sounds great. Let's go.
Yeah. And,
I like episodic planet hopping. Well, if you like Star Trek, then
yeah,
you probably are gonna like like that.
I mean, we'll see. And apparently, I don't know. I'm interested to see what Big Convoy is like as a character, because apparently he's like quite a like brash like bruiser type.
Me too.
Which is interesting for for a prime, a keeper of the Matrix.
It is, yeah. Usually they're very by the books leadership type, but also kind of aren't, because they're not flawed, there's not as much character development.
Right.
Unless you're big time Gary himself, then you just like ascend beyond the material plane, man. Wait, you're right. I have the wrong background here.
The seeds of the future remained smoked in the past.
The seeds of the future remain smoked in the past. No seeds, no stems, no sticks. Some of that real sticky, icky.
On the Patreon, I took that screenshot of that you. It's the one with like very like stoner eyed Gary. I made that the image for the big time Gary $10 tier on the Patreon.
I noticed. I noticed that. Yeah.
Big time Gary himself. Well, do you have any final thoughts about Beast Wars Second as a whole?
All right. I think what make this is almost worse is that there are arcs that are almost interesting,
Yeah.
and it explores character development to just such a degree that it's edging something that's good. And that's almost worse than if it was just like kind of mediocre from front to back. It's worse to have like mediocre, bad, good, mediocre, mediocre, good, mediocre, bad, mediocre, mediocre, good. I'd rather the whole thing be mediocre than how shockingly bad it can be at times.
Yeah.
Because you get the taste. You're like, oh shit, here's a string of episodes that's good. No, fuck you.
Yeah.
You thought it was getting better. It's not.
The show was on kind of an upswing for a while there, so it's unfortunate that it ends on such a excuse me, that it ends on such a whimper.
Yeah, it's like getting close, getting edged, and then you just get fucking smacked right in the balls. You get close, and then you just get kicked right in the. Oh man, so as a whole though, nobody needs to watch this.
No.
I'm glad that some people caught it when they were young, or they can have it going on in the background, or like whatever, if you speak Japanese, or like if you find a atrocious dub somewhere, fan dub, maybe you can have it on in the background. You can pull a Burnham and Bircham and like while you're cooking or going to the bathroom or something like that, brushing your teeth. But like, oh man, it and it pains me because I like a lot of the characters and things from it, but I think it's a waste of time as an adult.
Yeah, like I'm glad that I watched it, and I'm glad we got to talk about it. But make no mistake, I will never watch this show ever again.
Yeah,
I
couldn't.
I have no
couldn't
reason
pay
to.
me. I no, like there's so much bad, good things that I don't need to watch the bad things.
Right. That
Right?
being
Like
said,
there's a lot of bad things that are kind of charming in their own way that are out there and they're forgettable or whatever. But like it's kind of big oof.
that being said, as I mentioned, I am kind of excited to check out Beast Wars Neo when we get there eventually.
Me too. Just the art looks better. The character design looks like really the animation looks like better, and it almost seems like there's an from what I've read without spoiling myself, there's like the whole thing was written, or like they had an idea, like I have concepts of an idea, concepts of a plan. Whereas this, it definitely suffers from, oh geez, like what do the big wigs want us to do next week? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
If
the
this was
show
planned, I
I can't see the
so
show
shocked.
having been planned out ahead of time. It's so disjointed. The beginning episodes are kind of a rehash of one another.
Oh, the first one third, I want to say, were very a retelling of the same thing, and that's when Siege and I were like, "Ooh, maybe we should,
Maybe we should try to burn through this faster.
maybe let's do 3 or 4 episodes per pod."
And I think it's worked out well that way. And
It
we'll
has,
keep
yeah.
that up with Beast Wars Neo when we get there.
Hmm. Some
Well,
of you video listeners may be wondering why we had American Gladiators backgrounds. Should we share our inside joke?
yeah, sure.
Yeah. I asked Siege why he does it and why he like thought it was funny. I always just like copied him. I always thought it was kind of like defeating something. But what he told me before we started recording this episode was whenever something's like a struggle or like a fight, you fought till the very end. I put up the American Gladiators background there, and I was
And
like, "That's why you do it."
yeah. It's like
And God
this
damn it,
this
it
was a
does feel like we're in the final round.
it's like this was a fight. We powered through it. We fought hard and we
We
struggled.
didn't win, but we gave it 110%.
But God damn it, we'll be back next time with more semifinal action.
That's right. Man, remember the 80s when everyone was on drugs? Well, I was a kid, so I don't, but in my research of that decade, doesn't matter, everything. If you weren't on recreational drugs, you're on steroids. If you were on steroids, you're an alcoholic. If you were an alcoholic, you are burnout. Like the like it's the drug, or maybe that started in the 70s. I don't know.
If you were if you had any amount of money at all or social status at all, you were on coke.
And despite the fact it's heavily diluted, crack, which is like what, like water and baking soda with like cocaine,
Yeah, something like that.
um, held there was a way bigger penalty for something that was diluted. Almost like the system was meant to take the poor off the streets. That boggled my mind, that if you had like, like 200 grams of like cocaine versus like 10 grams of like rock, like the cocaine would get your hand smacked and they'll be like, now, wealthy person. But if you had like crack cocaine, they'd be like, you're going away for life, buddy.
Well, 200 grams of cocaine is like a lot.
I grabbed a bad number there. That's a lot.
That's like intent to
That's
traffic.
enough to
You're
put
doing hard
Rhinox.
time.
That's enough to put Rhinox on his ass.
Um,
Wait, is it only Maximals that get affected by eating like organic things?
no.
Sorry, not Maximals. I mean Beast Formers.
Oh, I think so.
So could Beast Formers do a drug of choice, and because they're techno-organic, and it would affect them?
We asked the hard hitting questions here on Too Much Energon.
Why? Of course it does. We watched Beast Machines. Why am I even asking this?
And in Beast Machines, Gary was definitely was baked throughout a lot of that show.
It was his identifying as Buddhist in college phase.
You know, we all go through it sometime.
And here we are, born to beast form podcast.
And on that note, that was episode 148 of Too Much Energon. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/lasercomb, LAZORCOMB. We're starting at the $5 tier. You get our bonus weekly Patreon exclusive podcast, the Super Lasercomb Patreon Super Show. Do one of those almost every week. The $10 tier, you get commentary tracks where me and Cal watch a movie and talk over it. It's a good time. And you also get to pick a show for us to review a random episode of on our other podcast, the Lasercomb Podcast. So if you want to get in on that, go to patreon.com/lasercomb. Join the Discord, link in the description. Buy a Too Much Energon or a Lasercomb shirt from the TeePublic store. There's a link for that in the description as well. Housekeeping. Now that we're done. Just flip tables. Now that we're done Beast Wars second, this show's going to take another break for a little while. For actually a few months, really. So we're going to be back in December with episode 149 of Too Much Energon, which is going to be our final holiday specials. Going to do one more round of those, and then that's it, because after the holiday specials, all we have left is Beast Wars Neo, and then that's it. Too Much Energon, done for good.
Unless certain movies or comics or whatever.
Yeah, unless something Beast Wars related, like
can you believe so much
comes out?
Well, actually no, because the Japanese anime were out in the 90s, but or late 90s, early 2000s. Was Neo 2000s?
Beast Wars Neo was 99 to 2000, I think.
But yeah, I don't think we ever planned on covering the anime, but then well, here we are.
We toyed with the idea a while ago, but yeah, now we've done it. So this show is going to be going away it's going to be taking a break for a little bit, but we're still going to be around podcrafting with the Lasercomb podcast that I mentioned and Patreon stuff. So keep following us. And then, yeah, like I said, this show will be back in December.
That's right.
The next holiday special, where I've wanted to do this as one of the holiday specials for a few years now, and Cal, we'll have to discuss like the logistics of how we want to do it, but I want to cover the Beast Wars video games. There are 3 of them. Now, I don't know if we want to, I don't know, like comment on them in real time as we play them, or if we want to talk about them in retrospect.
Oh, I see. Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll find logistics.
Yeah, so we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, either way, we'll be talking about the Beast Wars game, the Beast Wars Transmetal game, and the Japanese Beast Wars Game Boy Color fighting game, which is actually probably the best one out of the 3, honestly.
I haven't played any of them. I'm sure I will be pleasantly disappointed.
You bet. But yeah, we'll be back with that in a few months' time. And until then, I have been Eliminator Siege, one of your hosts.
And I'm Destroyer Neocal. Ooh, no.
And until next time, Beast Mode.
I'm going to go animal form. Or sorry, alt mode. Activate.
Henshin.
Henshin impact. Oh gosh, what do I got here? This is what I would transform into.
One of the biker mice from Mars. Vinny.
Specifically Vinny from Biker Mice from Mars.
Oh, yeah,
and everyone look at me and be like, he did, yeah.
I got that for you, yeah.
Specifically a ripped, awesome biker mouse. I don't have a robot form. It's just me, and then I transform into like an absolutely fucking jacked, like anthropomorphic mouse. Now that doesn't make me a furry, right?
I don't know.
Does being a furry mean that you have to want sexual some sort of sexual gratification from your fursona?
I think so.
Oh, phew.
Well,
No, I have no desire to fuck with my mouse penis. And I don't even know what I'm talking about.
that's what and to find out more about that, join us on the next episode of Beast Realm.
Beast Realm.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's our story from Gladiator Arena, Los Angeles, California. For Larry Zonka, I'm Mike Adamley. See you again next week for more exciting semifinal action.